Do you remember when Amazon aggregators were throwing money around like it was confetti? There was up to 7x earnings for your basic FBA store. Well, about that. Thratio's now in bankruptcy. Seller X just cut 20% of their staff. And that same store today, well, you'll be lucky if you get 3x. But here is the thing. If you know your numbers, you could still get a pretty great multiple. Whether you're just starting out with your first 10K month or you're doing millions across Amazon, Shopify, and TikTok, knowing your real valuation changes everything. It gives you better funding terms, smarter tax move, and when you're ready to cash out, a much bigger payday. So I'm going to show you exactly how to value your business in less than 5 minutes. There's no fluff, just the numbers that actually really matter. Right, so let's have a quick history lesson. Start of 2020, your average Amazon business was selling between kind of 2.5 and 3 times the earnings. Nothing fancy as expected. And then COVID hit. Everyone's stuck at home buying everything online. Suddenly, cheap money's everywhere. And these aggregators start popping up like mushrooms. By the end of 2020, some brands hitting 1 million EBITDA were getting 6x multiples. That's 6 times. Pretty mental, right? So aggregators raised around 16 billion, that much, just to hoover up Amazon brands. Now, when COVID precautions and policies stopped, the reality kicked in. Back in 2021-22, the kind of feeding frenzy, there was 180 brands bought in just 18 months. Warehouses were bursting and everyone's a genius in the bull market, right? But then interest rates spike, customer acquisition costs go through the roof, supply chains become an absolute nightmare. So we fast forward to 2024, Thratio files for bankruptcy, as I've said, March 25, Seller X axes staff. The party's pretty much well and truly over. So where does that leave you in 2025? Well, let me break it down. Pure Amazon FBA business, right? You're looking typically 3 to 4x SDE. Sometimes less if you're a one-trick pony that has that single product. Because aggregators now realize that a business selling on just Amazon has the constraint threat of Chinese sellers or that dreaded Amazon basics. But, and this is important, if you have a proper multi-channel setup, Amazon, plus your own website you sell through, and you've got, let's say, TikTok shop, you're now talking more along the lines of potentially 5 to 6 times. Now, this is because ultimately you have more control over your brand. And if you add that kind of killer brand let's say health products or something that's higher margins, you could push that and you could get maybe 7 or 8 times. So you might ask yourself, well, Sam, who is actually buying in 2025 then? There are still groups, and there's 3 main ones I'd say. First of all, you have the strategic buyers, and these are kind of established e-commerce companies filling gaps for their range, and they pay pretty good money if your brand is the right fit. Then you have kind of private equity. They want businesses doing typically 2 million plus EBITDA. They're happy to then kind of bolt you onto their portfolio. And finally is kind of lifestyle buyers, the people like you who want to run their own show, have their own business. They're on kind of Flipper or Empire Flipper, normally looking for businesses generally around under 1 million. So, well, let's have a look at what each of these are actually kind of paying. So you've got those strategic buyers. Generally, you can get 5 to 8 times kind of EBITDA if you've got a proper moat and a strong brand, multi-channels, something special and not easy to replicate, or copy. The private equity side of things, you're looking to between 4 and 6 times, but you do have to watch out. They love their earnout. So that basically means you might have to wait years potentially for a full payout. Lifestyle buyers, you're looking at around 2.5 to 3.5 seller discretionary earnings. And usually that is kind of a good split of all cash or kind of 80-20 split. But let's bring it down and back to basics. None of that really matters if you haven't got a clue what your numbers are. So whether you are doing 5K a month and dreaming big, or you're doing 1 million and you think, okay, it's time to sell, you need to know where you stand right now, whatever that position is. Not where you think you are, not where some broker might promise your business is, the actual real world valuation for today's market. And you'll be glad to know we have pretty much a wealth of experience when it comes to helping firms sell. We lived it back in the kind of COVID highs, let's say, where we helped dozens of businesses exit for the bigger bucks. And still now we help provide the platform for our clients to exit in the right way, ultimately for the right number. Because here's what most people miss. There is always a gap between where you are and where your buyers want you to be. And if you can kind of fix that gap, well, your valuation is going to jump, right? So if you want to know what your business is actually worth, we have a valuation calculator, which we use for our clients. It's literally one of the first things that we use to work out their numbers. Now, we're giving it to you. It's the same tool. So there's no guesswork, just clear numbers based on real market data. And typically it takes around about 60 seconds once you have that key data in front of you. You just punch in your numbers, your channels, and boom, you're pretty much there. You know exactly where you stand before talking to any buyer. And in most cases, you'll kind of be probably better prepared than your accountant, unless you're with us. So the link is below. It's free. There is no catch. It's easy. If you do like and want more no-nonsense takes on kind of e-commerce numbers and insights and just kind of helpful guidance, hit that subscribe button because we post a new video every week. And our ongoing aim is to make the complex just bloody simple, because at the end of the day, clear numbers, better decisions, more profit. Thanks for watching. Take care.